call your name out for the table, please.
Laura Metcalf.
Lorraine Murphy. Bill Driver.
Excellent. We have a quorum. We also have Gina Johnson here, the planning director. We have Alora here, our consultant that helped us put this together, and we have myself, Mario Gisbert, here for the meeting. Bill, do you want to run the meeting, or do you want me to run the meeting?
Probably easier if you did, since you're right there. We can hear you better than everybody can probably hear me.
Excellent. Okay, we just did the roll call. We have a fairly light agenda. We really only have 2 items, and they are 2 separate ordinances. Everyone should have received this, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday of last week. The first one is an ordinance of the city of Mexico Beach, and it's basically amending the comprehensive plan and allowing for an impervious surface area limit to be greater than what we had before. We had 50% in the past, and we're raising it to, I believe, it's 85%.
Correct.
Has everyone had a chance to look at all the handouts that came with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Discussion?
Just to be clear, you're only raising it to 85% for townhome zoning district.
We are only raising it to 85% for townhome district.
Okay. It's only for townhome district.
Correct.
Okay.
Special townhome zoning district, yes.
Is there discussion?
Yes, please.
I have one question. Can't find it right now in the text, but when I went through it, it said something about that the pavers had to be porous. Any pavers that were used,
That's the next item.
had to be porous, and I didn't want to have that to be interpreted that pavers had to be used. I can't remember exactly how it read. Certainly, gravel's okay, and I guess the other question is, if they're porous pavers, then they at this point, they don't count towards, or only a portion of them count towards the impervious ratios that are intent.
Bill?
And Bill, this portion does not cover that. That's the next, that's ordinance number 744, and we can address that when we get there.
Okay, good.
But for 743, we're just talking about increasing the impervious area to 85% for the special townhome district within high-density residential.
Right, and then I guess the other question I had was, excuse me, there were maps, aerials attached, or Google Earth stuff attached showing which part of the townhome, which area that is. Does it make sense to just list the addresses somewhere? So I'm going to look at our zoning map. Doesn't seem to stay updated like we'd like to. I guess it's harder to do than whatever. I just thought if we had the addresses listed, then someone could at least refer quickly to the address and see if it's on the list.
And Bill, that is also part of ordinance number 744.
Okay. I wish I was that far ahead of school. All right, so I'm good.
Okay.
Lorraine?
Maureen?
Those are my comments.
I'm good with this ordinance.
Okay.
I understand the need for it, and, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Laura?
I'm fine with that, and I'll make the motion if you'd like.
Okay, Laura's making a motion.
I make a motion to approve the special townhouse zoning district impervious to read 85% within the high density residential zoning district.
I will second.
Special townhome district.
Sorry,
Yep.
special townhome district.
And we have a second,
Maureen?
I will
Laureen,
second.
very good. Roll call, Laureen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
we have all three, so we passed that. Okay, the second one is an ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach amending the land development code, creating a townhome district category allowable only within the high-density residential future land use category, providing development standards, allowable uses, prohibited uses, and other development standards applicable to the townhome district zoning category, providing for codification, repealing ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict, and providing severability and an immediately effective date. This is the first time I've ever read an ordinance. Thank you for. And more specifically here, this is where we get into actually creating the townhome district itself. This is where we set up the setbacks, and then this is also where we have the map. And the map is really more for information at this point. What we will do over the next couple of months is we'll actually notify all of the properties and the adjacent neighbors. So some people may opt not to get in, some will complain about it. I mean, this is a whole big process. So part of the reason for doing the graphics is just so that people can see where they are and what we're doing. And keep in mind, even within the graphics, there's a couple of parcels here that are townhomes that face 98, and most of those parcels, I think, are already in tourist commercial, so they may not even need this on those parcels. So this is more just to try to cover things graphically, because if I gave you an address, you'd really have to look it up, versus when it's done graphically, people can look at it and see if their home is in it or if they're adjacent to it. So it's really more for informational purposes right now. We'll get more technical as this progresses into the next stage, and understand that this is approval from you, which will then go to the city council for the first reading, and then that's when it really gets technical and starts to go to, it's no longer DCA,
DEO,
DEO, Department of Economic Opportunity.
yes.
So they will look at it and give us their 2 cents worth over the next 30 to 45 days, depending on what they're doing with the coronavirus over there, because I know that they're also dealing with things and helping on those lines. So I will leave it to the board to comment.
I just wanted to make sure that this ordinance takes care of the release of common wall buildings from meeting with us for a variance.
It allows for a 0 lot line, which does not mandate a common wall agreement, but it allows for 2 walls to butt up to one another, and then of course, having a party wall agreement would actually make it better, so.
But it will
allow.
and be to the advantage that they do not have to attend planning and zoning for a variance of said common wall.
Correct.
Correct.
Common wall, okay. Thank you.
So clarifying, I don't understand why somebody had a choice whether they wanted to be in this district or not. If they're in the district, they're in the district in my mind.
They still have to have a choice, we can't mandate it.
Yes, you
We can mandate it? Nope, I stand corrected by the planner, so I will stay corrected.
Yeah. If you do the ordinance.
Yes.
It seems to make more sense rather than onesie twosie, and then 5 years from now, somebody says, oh no, I didn't say that I didn't want to be in it, you know, and you have to go back and then find the proof and all that. You know, to me, they're in it, and if they don't want to build a townhome on it, they want to combine a couple, you know, that's fine. They wouldn't even need our approval, I don't think,
Correct.
because they would meet the setbacks.
Yeah, and they would have a 0 lot line on there. If you took two 15-foot lots or two 20-foot lots, they would just have a 0 lot line on the other two ends.
Yeah, this just allows them to have the 0 setback, it doesn't require them to. So they could have a setback if they wanted to off the property line, but this just allows them to have a common wall and a 0 setbacks.
Okay, good. And then what about the pervious and the non-pervious
see that.
pavers, having to use them and how that's calculated?
So I think we talked about that being deferring to the cut sheet, that, whatever cut sheet you're providing with that
Yeah.
pervious surface is what you would go by, the technical.
Which the
Right.
building department,
It just seemed like,
Make
I
sure.
haven't found it yet, where it said that it's almost like you have these pavers.
I didn't see that, Bill, where was that?
So I,
It's right there at the
Oh,
Number 8, A.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the reason why we require that is because you have such a high impervious surface ratio, to help, that's all about stormwater right there, how high your impervious surface ratio is. So we're trying to help mitigate that a little bit by requiring the pervious driveway, sidewalks, and patio materials.
Okay, and that I can understand, Bill. All she's trying to get is a little bit of water getting in the ground, even though you've got you're allowed to go all the way up to 85. Let's do everything that we can within that to get some water back in the ground.
So just to be clear then, if their,
Oh, this is great.
ratio is under 85 using non-pervious pavers, they can't do that?
So if their impervious surface, you're asking, if their impervious surface ratio is 75%, are we still going to require them to have a pervious driveway, sidewalk, and patio?
And Bill, I can tell you the reason that I think she's doing this for. Keep in mind, the original goal was 50%. So we're already starting with a deficit. So once you go over 50, what she's trying to do is get something back in the ground. So anything that you can do to get some water back in the ground is all she's trying to do.
Which I'm in favor of.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I just want it clear, so.
But it doesn't have to be
If
paved.
stuff comes to us, we know exactly
Percent.
where it's going. So any pavers done on town-owned lot need to be pervious.
That's what it says, yes.
That is what it says.
And I can still use gravel to be pervious, correct?
I don't know
Yes.
how you guys determine that.
Yeah, you use gravel as a pervious surface,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and this does say pervious driveway, sidewalk, and
Patio
patio
materials.
materials, so that kind of
Okay.
includes everything.
Yeah.
clarify this, but I thought that only pervious pavers were acceptable. That's not true?
No. I don't believe so.
Not anymore.
Again, you are allowed to use impervious pavers when you're not in a tourist district, but you also know that it doesn't have any permeable rate to it.
Right, okay, I'm good. Okay. So,
Well, you can also use them in the tourist district for the high-density residential. It just counts against your impervious ratio.
right,
Well, anywhere that you use a paver of any shape, fashion, or form, it counts against your impervious.
Unless it's a pervious paver.
But a
Correct.
pervious paver is counting against you with a multiple of a
Percentage
multiply,
of
a percentage of it. Yeah.
Right, okay,
okay,
good.
Okay, we're good?
okay, so what do you need now?
We've had discussion. Anything from the general public?
Cause
No.
I mean, can I say something?
No.
Side setbacks are 0.
Yeah.
Side
So,
setbacks are
The
0.
only issue I see with that is
How
on
about
the
at the
ends. We've talked about the end units,
The ends, it has.
the end units wanting them to keep that 7.5 feet, and I don't know how
I
that,
think it's in here.
is it in
No,
there?
it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we certainly can include if that's,
Yeah, let's include that, and if you guys can make that as part of your motion, we'll bring that to the council if we can.
7.5?
If you're on an end unit.
If you're on an end unit, a 7.5 foot setback.
Well, we need to say it differently. We need to say if you're not, a common wall, if you're, we'll think about the proper language, but if you're not a side that's a common wall.
If you're not adjacent to another townhome district,
Yeah.
then you have a 7.5 foot setback.
Right, that's the way it should be, because the townhomes have all been connected all the way
I
down.
think it has to do with whether or not you have a common wall, because if I'm on the end, I don't have a common wall on that end.
Yeah, so you have a 7.5.
So then you would be required to have a
What if I
setback.
choose to be obstinate and I don't want a common wall on mine, I'm gonna build my own wall?
That's true.
You,
Because again, I would be that way.
So if you're saying if you're one of these that are touching and you're in the middle,
Yeah,
and you don't have to have a common wall,
correct.
what is it then?
You just do a cantilever footer and you build your own wall. And it will
Is
happen.
that, it will on a 12-foot lot?
Oh, yeah, it'll happen.
Okay.
Yeah, because again, if I wanted to build my building out of concrete block and my neighbors just wanted to stick build them, you can't have a common wall at that point
Right,
architecturally.
right.
I don't think we've ever had that situation.
You probably have, but you'll have one putz like me sooner or later.
Yeah. You,
There's
Yeah.
that.
I can think of a way to say that.
We'll figure out how to do it on the two ends that are adjacent to, I think, again, I still think it's gonna be adjacent to non, townhome.
Townhome district.
We can't have
Because-
zero.
Well, but I can find an example where that will work too.
yeah.
Because there's some that are going this way that are budding, some that are going this way. If you look on section 3, so if you, this is abutting this, but their direction is different. This one's facing north and south, and this is going east and
Yeah,
west.
but you see how there's nothing built there? They maintain the 7 foot setback.
But you're saying that if they're in the same zoning district, they don't have to have a 7-foot setback?
But here's a side yard being a backyard, maybe there's a way to
Yeah,
differentiate those two.
that would be a way to do it.
So it's also side yard or backyard that creates the issue.
Well, the rear's 10 feet. which
Yeah,
is
the
the
rear's
next,
10
right?
feet.
Correct, the rears are 10 feet.
That's gonna take care of.
You want it 7 feet or 7.5?
And again, I'm sitting here with Alora, and she and I are gonna go through these maps real quick, because on the very first page,
Section 6?
on section 6, those lots are very long and linear, and I think that one's okay. But then when we get to section 5, I think all of these lots that front US 98 are in commercial, tourist commercial. I don't know that we have to do this for tourist commercial.
Well, double check, because I think I checked that, but
Okay.
we'll double check that.
Okay, so we're gonna double check the tourist commercial to see if there is a 0 lot line setback on those. And the same thing with section 4, there's a couple of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there's about 10 or 12 that front 98 there also. And then on section 2, there's probably another 10 or 12 that front 98, so.
I can guarantee you that is high-density residential. I can guarantee, the only thing that might be in question is those that are on the very
And
east
I
end,
know that this is one of the ones where
that you checked, then I assume.
So we're gonna check a couple things just on the, tourist commercial to make sure that we don't need to carve them out. But we'll,
We're not adopting the map today.
yeah,
Okay.
so we'll make refinements to the map, and we'll make refinements to, the end units to make sure that there's a setback on the units adjacent to other land uses.
Great.
Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
Can I offer some language, or is it?
Oh,
is it
please.
on the fly?
No,
Please.
no, yeah, no, there you
language that says the side setback of 7 feet is required when the parcel is adjacent to a zoning district that is not townhome district.
7.5 should be,
Seven
Seven
and
and
a
a
half.
half?
Okay,
yeah, same, then we're
It's
consistent all.
consistent, yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
so a side setback is required of 7.5 feet when the parcel is adjacent to a zoning district that is not townhome district.
So now that I think that through, if the lot's 15 foot wide, they're really not gonna have anything to build on.
Keep in mind, where most of these townhomes were built, it was already done that way. So I think what's happened is you've got these lots that are 15 feet, 15 feet, 15 feet, and then the end unit is actually 22.5 feet.
Good, okay,
Okay.
great.
And we researched that and believe that to be true, right?
We will be verifying it over the next couple days, but yes.
Okay, okay. All right, all right.
So we'll just, what we can do is put a footnote on 0 feet and put a footnote in the table
7 and a half. And then add
that
that
says
verbiage.
that has that
Okay.
language.
Okay. I'll go ahead, guys, and make a motion for, the verbiage as stated by Alara, because there's no way I can redo that. Y'all know, right?
Yes.
Okay, I will second that.
Thank you, Marie.
Okay, roll call. Laureen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
thank you. Motion passes. Again, thank you very, very much for everyone that attended the meeting. We were safe. We did ask the questions of everyone that was here. I'm thankful that people are staying home because that means that they are practicing social distancing, and or have a compromised immune system, and we want to protect you first and foremost. So again, thank you for everyone participating, and we will have this on the agenda for tomorrow's city council meeting. And for future council meetings, the state has given us the ability to do this. We've probably ad-libbed it by a good bit. I think we show a good effort to follow the rules to the best of our abilities, and that's about as much as we can do. It has been recorded, and thank you for both of you being on the call as board members.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?